Good day, dude. Good morning. Good morning, people. How we going, Matt?
I just had a good idea. Next time I'll fade the intro.
That's a good idea. Can you do that?
Yeah, see this little volume slider.
That's pretty cool.
Normally we'd have someone do this, but
We're still down.
we're still in the search.
So if anybody wants to be the IT group, join on in.
Yeah, that's right.
We're live on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you want to watch us. We'll get on Spotify at some point. We've been saying that for a couple weeks.
Yeah, Luke gotta teach me how to do that.
Yeah, that's just more setup and more housing. So we got to get on somebody's place of streaming. Geez, server.
Yeah,
We need a server.
we need a
to house
host.
it.
That's
Yeah,
what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. What's new, dude?
Oh man, not much at all. Here it's raining in California again. Which what do they tell you to say when this happens?
Oh, we needed it.
Oh, we need it.
Yeah, it's cool. We needed this. That's the line. That's what everybody says at work. They're all like, "Oh, we needed this though."
Yeah.
God, it's gonna rain, dude. We needed it. All
So-
right, man. Whatever you say, I get it.
That's what's happening today. Yesterday, sounds like you had a pretty good score of bounty. You found some
Yeah.
butcher who
Found a
got
butcher.
some good stuff.
Me and Trill tried to walk the dogs, but it was raining and Ojai was downpouring. So we went to a butcher. We found heart, liver, raw milk's not. We can't get it from them, but we got all the organs we could want: heart, liver, kidney. They had, but I can't fuck with that. Should I have gotten it?
No, if you don't like it,
Yeah, I
I'm
can't.
not gonna like it.
Yeah, I can't fuck with it. It's like it's liver just on steroids. In my opinion. It's rough. Yeah, so we found a farm. So it was a decent day yesterday. Decent day. The gym was good. It was a fun workout. It was cold. I was cold yesterday.
It was chilly. We learned some interesting things. Apparently, California, you can't get bull balls to
Yeah.
eat, which I don't understand.
Most states apparently you can't.
And that's because
The FDA just regulates everything. I'm confused because you could buy the desiccated one, so like it just doesn't make sense. I don't know if she explained it properly.
but like I don't even understand why the FDA would regulate a piece of meat.
You know, because they don't want us to fucking eat nose to tail. Because they don't want us to be healthy, dude. We know that. They don't
Weird.
want us to be able to live a bountiful, healthy life.
Yeah.
They want us to take pharmaceutical drugs, eat GMO
Well, that's
style
because they're
foods.
half bought by
Big pharma.
pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I don't know. The FDA is weird. There was a bunch of podcasts out there, not as good as ours, but they're out there, dude. Just that like have interviewed people that work for the FDA and just like how corrupt it actually is and like different things. There's this one, I forget what the podcast was called, but I listened to it on the ride out, and it was about the FDA and like how it's broken. But on the broken part, Greg Glassman's doing Broken Science. We're talking about that. So a lot of cool shit happening out there, people.
Yeah.
A lot of cool shit. What did you do yesterday, though?
I went mountain biking. Also found a place that is down the street from us, not like literally, figuratively, that you can go. And they literally milk the cow while you're there for your
Sick.
milk. Like it's apparently more for like they spike it, so like they get tequila in there, or like hot chocolate with
Oh, shit.
tequila,
It's illegal,
or
right?
Kahlua. I don't know.
Well,
It's apparently just like a place you go though.
it's raw milk.
Yeah, it's fucking straight out the udder.
Yeah.
So it's warm when you get it. So I want to go check it out. One of the guys I
Are
was
they
mountain
open
biking
today?
with was telling me huh?
Are they open on Sundays?
I'll ask the guy and see if
Yeah,
he
weird.
can give me the GPS of it. I'm like picturing like a shed,
That's
a
what-
broken down shed in the middle of a field.
So I'm picturing like fucking cows that have miserable
Yeah.
lives.
But maybe
which
it's a little more renowned. I don't know.
I wouldn't drink it if it was that. I would struggle hardcore. But when we were at Ohio, me and Chill, to add on to that weird story, we were talking, and this French lady approached me, and she was like, "Do you eat raw?"
Was this at the butcher shop?
Yeah, at the butcher
Okay.
shop, and it was a customer. She's from Ohio, you know how they are up
Oh
there.
yeah.
So she was like, "Do you eat raw organs?" And I was like, "Yeah, we eat a few, whatever we can get our hands on. We've tried everything that we could get so far." And she's like, "Oh, like what?" And I was like, "The liver is the main one. Heart, just when we can get it. Testicle, we haven't got." I said the raw milk, raw kefir, all the normal shit we eat. And she was like talking about kefir and all these other things. She proceeded to invite me and Trill to her house to get. She wanted us to make kefir. So I have her phone number. She
Okay.
wanted to give us kefir grains. And she's like, "Come to my house. I'll give you some. I have so much of it." And I was like, "Well, I don't have anything to like do it yet." So how about I just take your number and I'll text you next time I'm in Ojai? And then she got like all freaked out. She's like, I'm not trying to be pushy. I was like, I don't think you're being pushy.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'd love to. I want to make it, but you have to have like a sterile jar. We don't have a 5-gallon jar. And then we got to make sure we have the milk because the kefir has to be dead. So I do have her number. I'm going to hit her up. And I forget her name. It was like Colissette or something French. And I'm going to hit her up and we're going to go to her house. Trill got freaked out. She's like, what if she tries to kill us? I was like, then we die.
We'll just come up armed, dude.
Yeah, come up. I had my Benchmade knife with me. I usually carry it with me 90% of the time.
Let's bring the firearm, dude.
Yeah, I need to get a gun. Actually, talk about that. But aside
You
from
picked
that,
one of the worst states to do it in, but
yeah,
I mean,
this
later.
I'm in a
now,
better
better
state than I've ever been in my life. I think mentally.
No, I
clarity.
meant state isn't.
Yeah, I know. We got some comments, but you don't have it pulled up. This
Let
is
me
why
pull
we
it
need a
up.
tech guy.
Yeah, well, Hey, DH, man. Dave is like an old co-worker from the Med Decision days.
Med Decision. All right.
Remember when I worked there?
Yeah, not Sonos.
Not so
nice,
nice.
dude.
I tried to get him to work at Sonos, but he loves South Carolina. Rightfully so. I think Charleston. Have you been there?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, to North Carolina, Charleston. Yeah, me and
South.
Nick went
South
south. Yeah, me and Nick went when we went to Savannah. We stopped there, bougie ass town.
Bougie, but nice.
Yeah,
if I was going to live in the South, that'd probably be where
It's
I would
expensive, right, Dave? I mean, relative.
It was affordable back when I was looking to switch jobs, but I don't know if it is
you
now.
were
It might
gonna
be
move
up
there.
and coming.
I think it's expensive, as far as I'm
Yeah.
aware. I think it's like you just it's up and coming and all these different crazy things.
Bill Murray has a house there in the city.
At work, they were talking about the South when we were at our Montecito party, and they were talking about the South, and they were all talking about golf courses. A lot of golf courses there, Dave. Mortgage paid off this
Whoa,
week. Holy
congratulations. So
The
you're
tech.
done.
The tech stack just takes care of you
Yeah.
guys. They say sales. I just don't think sales is the route.
That's impressive, Dave. Congratulations, man.
Dave, are you from there or are you Med Decision? You're a PA guy.
He was a PA guy. He loves food, so he knows all the places to eat. Obviously not carnivore friendly. This is kind of a new thing, but he
Shit,
plays
dude.
tennis.
Tennis, dude. Who's your favorite player? Let's go. Hot seat. Let's go. Favorite player.
A real question.
All right. He wants a real question. Famous line, Wimbledon tournament. Which tennis player screamed at the umpire?
I feel like I know the answer to that
Yeah,
one.
well, you better, because we used to fucking joke about it all the time. What grip do you use?
3 changes to diet that can be done simply.
3 changes to diet that can be done simply. Eliminate sugar.
Yeah.
Don't eat 2 hours before bedtime. In my opinion, I believe that. I've had big success with that.
You
Dude, watched that
live.
match live. Chalk blew up. Third one.
I like to just say shop around the edges of the grocery store.
It's a diet change, yeah.
I think that's the easiest
It's
one.
a good one.
Hopefully that makes sense, Dave, but I definitely agree with Luke. No sugar for sure.
And the sugar is relative, like processed cane sugar.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is pick up any processed food and look at the package, and it will tell you if there's sugar in it.
Yeah.
And you'll be really surprised in how much shit sugar
Basically everything does. Like we're on a dry fruit kick. Dates are like the only thing that like actually works, which is why it makes sense that Paul only promotes those. Mangoes fuck us up, but every other fruit we've looked at is like saturated in some sort of oil and cane sugar.
Yeah. Latest menu choice I'm making. Is that you, Dave, that you're making? You're going to tell us? Or is that a question? Chicken quinoa.
Corn, guac, kale bowl.
Kale bowl.
Sounds fucking good.
Yeah,
That
see, that's
can-
good, dude. That's, you
The-
got everything in there.
You're boiling the quinoa like rice, popping it in the bowl, putting the kale salad with it. I'm guessing some guac and then some chicken on top.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds like
So what is this? Your dinner or is this lunch?
parroted himself, dude. Dave, are you a chef? Matt said you're a foodie. Chef,
He's
or
a
you just
foodie.
like to eat different?
He knows where to get the best X. So if you're like where to get the best
Okay.
cheesesteak, he would say Pat's.
Pat's,
He
okay.
wouldn't say Pat's. or where to get. He'd tell you some like this. One I'm saying like he really knows it, so he would tell you to get a cheesesteak. I forget where it was, some place that you'd never heard of. I think.
Oh shit! You just played tennis. Okay, he just played tennis this morning too.
Wow.
Shit, we used to play tennis on Sundays. Matt's not very good, Dave. I've tried to teach him. Tried to put him on like a continental grip, and he just can't handle it. And we made some Western, semi-Western.
Which surprisingly is the second Sunday in the row that it's rained. So like this, Luke and I were going to start playing tennis every Sunday with a D1 college athlete, but so far the last two times we were going to play, it's been delayed or canceled altogether.
We needed the rain.
Yeah, we need the rain.
It's well needed. It's much needed.
But yeah, then Dave could like, I remember one time someone was going to Canada and he wanted them to pick up this canned soup in Canada. Like he just knows the weirdest thing about food.
That was somebody from your work.
Yeah,
that went to Canada. Like this is where this happened.
Yeah, I think it was Greg was going to Canada, and Dave was like, "Oh, you got to go pick up this canned soup and bring it back to me."
That's awesome. That's funny as shit. That's like
he probably knows places here. Dave, do you have any recommendations for good eating here in Ventura, California?
Have you been here, Dave?
A long, long time ago.
To see work?
No, I don't know what for.
I guess I could be asking Dave.
Next year after I get back from Aussie. Oh, snap.
Shit, dude. Where are you going in Aussie? I lived there, brother. For not very long.
Where'd you live?
Burleigh, Gold Coast, right outside of Brisbane on the coast. So you're going to Australia December 2023.
If Dave happens to, do you know where that is? La Paz?
In Calabasas? Nah, but Trill probably took us there, right?
That's oh, you're recommending. I thought that was a place in Australia.
No, Calabasas. Nah.
So if Dave asks
Sydney,
you.
Melbourne.
Okay.
Cambridge. All right, nice. Where are you going first? You starting south and making your way up north? I wish we had a tech guy who would pull up a map here. Pull up a map, dude.
Yeah, I'll pull up a map while he's responding.
Yeah.
Luke, tell us a little bit about
Dave. If you want to, we can call you in and we can go live right here. If you want to, we'll drop the link. You don't have to. We could just keep chatting this way. But if you want to, we'll just talk about Australia for a little bit. Have you been there? Can't see the chat.
Sorry, there you go.
That's the order. Okay, shit. Okay. So you're going central because that's the hub probably, right? Easier to fly into. It's where I flew into.
Can he make it to Gold Coast if he wanted to, or no? It's too out of the way. Oh, he says, oh, there you go.
Can he? Well, yeah, he's going to the Gold Coast next time. Why are you going to Australia? What made you pick that? Emily, you love Australia like me? He's flying into...
Let me share it. Give me a sec.
Hold on, people. I have to leave soon. Haven't been yet. Okay, so it's first time. What was the reason? What was the reason for Australia? Just to go on a trip to Sydney? Yeah, there we go. So he's popping in Sydney.
Ignore the flags. These are places I've marked that I want to visit. So like Wadapaloo picnic area.
Okay. All
right. But anyway, so Sydney.
Yeah, so Sydney. We got to make our trip there at some point.
I'd love to go there.
It's not allowed.
Down to Melbourne.
Then he's going all the way to Melbourne. That's the foodie city, dude. The foodie city. You're going to eat all the food there. I'm guessing coffee. We get a coffee from there. Hit up Rumble Coffee. Dave, we got a task for you. There's a coffee shop in...
Dave, you could actually hit up some of these places I've marked. So you should go to Princess Pier. Check that out. That'd be good photos. You should also go here, the Dragon's Head. Look at that. That's dope. And then maybe swing on over to Fort Nepean and get some good shots there. And then where's he going from Melbourne?
Then he said he's going to Sydney. Then he's going Melbourne, and then he said somewhere in there. Did he say Cambridge or something?
I don't know. Oh, Cambridge. Yeah, Cambridge. Where's that at? You're the geography master.
Are you going all the way up north? Is that remind me, Dave? Is that the Great Barrier Reef region? Share the map, Matt.
I am.
Yeah, there you go. Now you just did. I think so, right? Go all the way north above the Gold Coast. I might be wrong because he said he's not going to the Gold Coast. Oh.
Canberra. I have to type that in, dude.
I think that's halfway between Sydney and...
there she is.
That's like the capital, right?
So if we zoom out a little bit, okay.
I think that's the capital.
It's like right in the middle. How are you getting around city to city? You taking a bus? You took a bus, right?
I took a train
from Sydney up to
the Gold Coast. It was like 14 hours. Yeah, the capital, and that's what I remembered.
Did they stop?
Oh yeah, that's
lot.
what took it forever.
Did
yeah.
you get out, or did you just stay in it?
I just stayed in it, and then like some of the fucking boonies of Australia would get on, like these people with like junkyard divers. They smelled like BO. It was crazy.
That's
really crazy. The train stopped. I forget where I got on a bus. Stopped in where's my memory's been really bad lately. Where's what's his face? Hemsworth live? Dave, remind me. Hemsworth. Starts with a B. My memories, it's north. Keep going north. Keep going north.
I don't know if he watches movies. Dave, are you a movie guy too?
Not Brisbane, not Gold Coast, Byron Bay. Byron Bay. Just keep going south. Beautiful. Type Byron Bay. And Dave, that's where you got to fucking go. It's expensive. It's like Byron Bay. Fucking beautiful.
I have something marked there.
It's where Hemsworth lives.
Cape Byron, yeah.
It's where they got there. It's like the surf point. So that's where the train stopped. We got off the train and then I got on a bus and then went north for about an hour. And then that's where I met up with, what was that dude's name? Peter. He picked me up, the Brazilian, or the German and the Brazilian.
How'd you find him?
That's what I lived with, the Airbnb people, for a couple of weeks. And then I moved in with Matt once I did the dog watching gig. But I know about Byron Bay, train and bus. So you're doing train, dude. That's going to be exciting. It was pretty cool. I was hoping you'd be able to see a lot, which you did. It just was long. It was like it took up a chunk of time. But the flights are pretty cheap. It depends if you fly certain things. So Melbourne, like you can get like a $60 flight, but then if you have a bag, they charge you like $80-$90 to just fly.
Hold on, Dave. Before you go, real quick, the theme of the podcast is rejection, objection. Can you give us a quick
rejection that you've had, or objection?
Yeah, quick
rejection. We'll chat about it. You don't even have to be here. You can watch this later.
Just drop it in the chat.
You got dumped, work, a girl that you wanted,
denied
friend,
a certain menu item.
Yeah, denied like a change on a menu. But we appreciate giving us the quick little spiel on Australia, dude.
Little icebreaker.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Australia. Let's pull up some more stuff. All right, pull up the Gold Coast. So we're Byron Bay. So this is where I spent some time.
Job interview, CHS 2005. Nice.
All right, we'll research what CHS is. Charles Schwab. I'm guessing.
I think it's something hospital system.
Oh, Children's Hospital?
Yeah. I thought I aced the interview. Damn. That's always the worst when you're like, oh, okay, this is no problem.
That's rough. It's like the push press one.
Yeah.
I called you. I was like, dude, I got the job. Next thing you know, 3 weeks later, they're like, yeah, man, we went with somebody else. Good luck.
Charleston. Oh, okay. So you were already planning on getting down here.
There you go. So I had to drive. So it's the Gold Coast, south, and go to the coast. Boom, zoom in right there. Burleigh Heads. See it? South. There we go. All right. So Burleigh Heads. Zoom in now. Go over. Boom. That's Burleigh Heads. And go over there. You see it?
Burleigh Beach,
Burleigh Heads. That's
you
where
would go hang out here.
Yeah, that's where I used to walk. Remember, I have a YouTube video from there on the trail. Damn, Dave.
How long before they got back to you? Because when Luke did this job interview for Push Press, I think you heard nothing for a week. He had sent an email like, hey,
I heard nothing for weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks. Yeah. Until I reached out, and finally a couple of days later, he reached out.
You connected on LinkedIn. What else did you do? Did you call?
LinkedIn, emailed several different people. His personal email that I got from like his other company's website just didn't answer me. And then he answered me from like, again, a non-disclosed email, or however you can hide your emails. I asked the recruiter any specific feedback. Do you have better info on how the recruiter?
Oh, that's a good idea. You should ask that question.
Yeah. So the difference is, right? Absolutely not. What the fuck? That's dog shit. You can't tell somebody no and then not give them feedback. That's one of our big principles.
Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, man. We'll chat soon. Maybe we'll get you on for an interview when you have some more time.
Dope. I'd love to.
Dave's an interesting character, so there's a lot we can dive in on.
I'd love to talk about food, travel, this interview.
Yeah. But that's a great thing. Great point we should hit on is like when you do get objection,
let's dive into it.
You should probably ask for feedback.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe not so much in the dating world that'll fly, but I guess maybe it could if someone's an honest, open person.
And what do you mean? Explain.
Like if you're like, hey, would you go on a date with me? And they said no.
Why not?
Yeah. Is that pushy then?
No, I don't think so. I think it depends. You also have to be an intelligent person and read
Yeah.
the room. But you could also, if we're done with Australia, we can kill that so everybody can see us.
Oh, you were going to talk about
But you could
Australia.
just hide it right now.
Yeah.
Because I have some rejection stories from there.
Okay.
Yeah. What we learned at work was if you sense that the person is uncomfortable or doesn't like the conversation, you could always broach like, hey, if you don't mind me asking X, Y, and Z, like broach it, like ask for permission.
So is there a pause in there?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
And you just pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wait for them to
say.
But
it also depends. Yeah. You could like hit follow.
Because, you know, some people just go, hey, man, if you don't mind me asking, what color? It's like, you know, they just go right into the question.
No, we normally wait. Like what I've noticed or observed is most of the people around me, like Eugene's really good at it. Like without being pushy, but like your goal is to be on the phone as long as you can. Just get them talking and just be like, hey, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure. Go ahead.
I was just really wondering, you know, X, Y, and Z and this, and this. Again, if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's okay. I'm just curious because of X, Y, and Z, or like,
what cues do you go off of when you to sense someone's getting uncomfortable? I'm assuming silence is probably one of them.
Silence, or just like stuttering, or like you can hear the tone of their voice change.
Yeah.
So one of the big things I've been reading about coaching lately is the tone of your voice. Like, I forget what the word they use, but it's like in the middle
of inflection.
It's like at the whiteboard brief where it's like talking to somebody and it's like, all right, guys, this is really important. I want you to pay attention to this and like get really like really intentional behind it, or like bring like a lot of like enthusiasm or not enthusiasm, like seriousness to it, and then elevate it again. Yeah. Like, guys, I want you to really make sure you hit the stimulus today.
Do you ever like
super important
hear yourself talk and it feels like the words are just coming out of your mouth and you're not even controlling them?
Mm-hmm.
I think about a lot of things when I do my whiteboard brief, but sometimes I'm just like, wow, I'm just talking and I'm not even thinking about it. It's just like coming out of my mouth. It's really weird. I can't really explain it that well and put it into words, but it's like I'll be like going down the brief, running through the things, and I'll just be like, wow, listen to what I'm saying.
Well, I think that happens sometimes. Like, I think if I coach in the morning, I'm way more better or way more fresh or like better at explaining it. Usually if I work out the 4:30 coach to 5:30, I'm like just at the workout. I got like all these things running through my mind and I'm like just spitting fucking things at them. And I just like go through my time or like my checklist of like, what's the workout, what's the stimulus, what's the scales, and what's the logistics. I normally just go like workout. And then I'll start talking about scales mid workout description. And then I'll start talking about like, and it's solely
when you hit flow state coaching, that's the only place I've ever kind of grasped the idea of flow state, but like, holy shit, it's crazy. You're just like going and you're just like fucking bombing it. Like, we're not bombing it, you're like killing it.
We'll have to explain what flow state actually is, but this is where
back to rejections.
Yeah, the coffee kicked in. Matt got a little off topic there. So rejections.
Let's go back to Aussie.
Yeah, let's talk about Australia. We got no viewers right now, so we'll just wait till we get one or two, maybe.
So Aussie, where were you rejected, dude? Here we are, Burley.
Well, if we zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead. Take control.
I got you. So let's how do we change the map view?
You want satellite?
Yeah, let's see what satellite looks like. All right, so we zoom in. Got the park right here. This is Justin Park. This is where I used to hang out. So we got the Burley Pavilion, beautiful restaurant, sits on the fucking beach. Clubby, very popular at night. I could have worked there. I did not, because I did not want to work in a bar like this. So, but beautiful. Then we cross the street, come here. This is where all the other spots were. This is like the coffee shops. The coffee shop I used to go to is somewhere right here. Burro Barista, fucking dope. Simple. Just hang out, sit, cross the water, go to the beach. This is literally across the street.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool spot. So I used to hang out here. Maybe there's a shot of me here somewhere. How sick would that be? So I used to hang out there. Chris Rihoden, dude, what up? What up? What up, man? We're just fucking chatting. We're waiting. Chris, can you tell us the time you've been rejected?
Yeah, while we're here, Chris.
Yeah, while you're here.
Throwing shade.
How do you hide this?
Just remove it.
Tell us the time. Yeah, you want to pop in here and throw some shade. Tell us the time you've been rejected, whether it's I know some stories, so if you're not going to say them, I'll bring them up.
So where did you get rejected or objected?
So there was a couple times. So we were not by women or anything. So I was at this Your sister continues to reject me. Of course, there we go, Chris. There we go. She's married, dude. I've told you this.
Oh, maybe he's talking about the other one.
Yeah, Chris, you've been rejected by. I know some stories about him. Like we should have him on here. He's a crazy guy.
Okay.
Before he came to Palomas, Chris was basically like a nut job. He worked at Lockheed Martin. I don't even know if I'm allowed to legally say that.
Yeah.
He used to go out, fucking fight people, a bunch of stuff. Chris, tell him about it. We'll do an interview with you. He's probably at work. But I was in Australia, went to this. Well, prior to Australia, I worked in restaurants, right? And worked at Vecchia. It was one of my selling points for this job. So
Which
I went
is a pizza place.
Yeah, pizza place. No, like Napoleon
Classic
style.
Italian,
Yeah, you have to make it from scratch. So I go to this restaurant. It's fucking far. Remember getting there, going up these fucking hills on like Peter's broken ass bike. By the time I got there, dude, drenched in sweat, fucking sweaty. Pissed off, but okay. I get there early because I knew I was going to be drenched. I need to let my whole system, like my body dry. I had a backpack on. You know that feeling like when you wear a backpack and you're biking and the whole back is stopping wet. That's how it happens. So I get there, go talk to this lady. It's like, I think an interview. I don't remember, but we're talking. I forget the name of the restaurant, but it's a Italian restaurant with a Napoleon style wood oven pizza. That was like my selling point. Was like, I've used one of these. I know how to use it. Their oven wasn't as hot as Frank's and wasn't as nice, but same deal. They had people from Naples come over, build it, wood fire, etc. And they had a bunch of other food bar, and they had a lot of tourists working there. But it was like a family-owned restaurant. You could tell it was like if you didn't like click day one, they didn't give a shit. So I don't even remember working there very long. I remember one night going, helping them out, do some stuff. And it was just like thrown to the wolves. It wasn't like, here, we're going to show you X, Y, and Z and how to move around. So anyway, I worked the one night. They give me cash. I never hear from them again. She must have not liked me. It was like simple stuff. It was like, take some food. Number? Yeah. It was like, take some food stuff, take some drink orders, do some different stuff. And this was also prior to like when I got like really comfortable in the restaurant. Like
besides the sweat though, did you feel like you nailed the job?
Yeah, it was easy. It was like a restaurant with simple fucking things. Like beer. The only thing I didn't nail was like, what beer do you have? It was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know all the local beers. Like I could give you a menu or I could try to talk to you about it. But again, this was before I was like really comfortable in those settings. Like I feel confident now that I could walk into basically any restaurant and figure out how to do it. Like do the job or do it well, like, or at least go to a table and talk to them. Like, I don't know about anything else, or like, I don't know what's on the menu, but like the guys that Chris, like fucking the fittest guy in the Mississippi will talk about that. You show that on the stream. I wish fucking G was here.
I know. It's tough. You got to do a lot here.
So I just got rejected, but I know I could go to any other restaurant. That was my big rejection there. I didn't go to a CrossFit gym. There wasn't too many rejection moments. I spent a lot of time by myself. A lot of times of rejection. I've been at other points in my life, like around here in PA. What about you, dude? Like, I want to hear from you today.
I don't know, man. It's a tough one for me to think about. I think for me, my protection mechanism is to just forget it ever happened.
So you just push it out of your brain.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I just forget about it. Like, I can't tell you the last time I was rejected.
Well, maybe we need to define here objections versus rejections. So there's two. What happened?
My wrist has just been like spazzing. It really hurts.
It's not good. It's from the wall ball.
That from?
So there's two different things: objections versus rejection, or objections and rejections. Most things that people think are rejections are just objections. Like simple as like if I say I want to date somebody, but this is I don't know if I should say this on the stream. Like, I want to date this person. I'm not saying I actually want to. Just using a really simple example. They're married.
Right.
That's not a rejection. That's an objection.
Right.
Potentially, like.
So what would a rejection be?
A rejection would just flat out be like, I don't know. Actually, that's really hard. Like, I think the point is everything's almost an objection. Most things aren't rejections. Rejections are like, hey, I want to apply for this credit card. Here's my social security number. Your credit's not good enough. Reject it. That's a rejection. But ultimately, you can like manipulate that story and say that's not a rejection. That's an objection. You need to now get a better credit score. And
I guess we'd have to define it then. What is a rejection? Like, are you saying, it sounds like you're saying a rejection is you flat out don't meet these criteria that are laid out. So I cannot.
Yeah. I mean, it's
proceed.
It's really hard to.
And an objection sounds like, here's some opinions, not facts.
I don't even know if that's hard. That's true. We have to define that. Can we pull that up? But the like, right. I think about it in like terms of sports, maybe like, hey, we have this tournament happening, or the CrossFit Games, or the Super Bowl, or the World Cup. It's like for somebody like Ronaldo, Portugal lost yesterday. Ronaldo, I believe, is retiring from the World Cup after this. So he lost. He hasn't won. That is a rejection because he does not have a chance to redeem himself.
Right.
But everybody else who's new on the team were potentially saying in the next 4 years, they have the chance to beat the objection. The objection was the other team got in the way of winning, right?
Yeah. Looks from LinkedIn. Objection is not a rejection.
Yeah.
Hell, it's about sales.
Yeah, of course it is.
And it's gone.
It's gone. Go back.
Thanks, LinkedIn, dude. Appreciate it, man.
We'll pull up some stuff, chat. Pulling up some stuff. An objection is not a rejection.
So objection, the action of challenging or disagreeing with something.
That's an objection, which is basically like in my job every day or anything. The gym. Let's keep it simple. The gym. I'm not ready to start CrossFit.
Yeah.
Why is that? I'm not fit enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's an objection. That's something standing in the way. A fear of being rejected. The fear is if I come into the gym and I'm not good enough, I don't want to be told no. It's like the same thing. It's like I don't want to be in a relationship. People won't like break up fully because they don't want to be dismissed. They don't want to be replaced with somebody else, even if it's like ultimately not a good relationship, right? They don't want to be rejected. They'd rather like have all these obstacles in the way potentially and navigate it. Because a bunch, what's this say? While rejection can often feel baseless and confusing, objections are more tangible and you can rationally reason with them. Exactly.
Okay. So it's saying like rejection is just there's no reason. So like in this example, you call, hey, how's it going? This is Luke from Procore. No thanks, and they just hang up. That's rejection.
Yeah.
Versus
objection is like I'm too small of a company for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm not the right guy.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing for a gym is like ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, man? This is Luke over at CrossFit Ventura.
Yeah. How you doing, Luke?
Good, man. Good. I got your request to come join the gym.
Cool.
What were you thinking? Like, what have you heard of CrossFit before? Obviously,
I don't know. I've been thinking about it lately, and I'm just too fat, man.
Objection right there. Now we dive into the pain point. Well, why do you think you're too fat?
Dude, like I get on the scale and I'm 280.
Dude, you're gonna have a fucking big ass deadlift. That's what I know. But I mean, we help plenty of people.
But I was looking at your pictures, and everyone's just slim and buff, and I just, I think I'm too fat for what you're offering. So I don't know. I was just up late last night, and I was just discussing with myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit more about like your diet?
Just I'm mostly just me living by myself, so I just get like I'm not a good cook, so I just get those frozen meals.
Okay.
They have kale in them.
Yeah, kale's good, dude. Kale's bullshit. Can you tell me like a little bit more about like your fitness routines? Like what have you done in the past?
I just go on walks around the block.
Okay. Just around the block?
Yeah.
Awesome. What's that look like?
I just go out my front door, make 3 rights, and I'm back home.
Okay. So like a mile?
I don't know. What's a mile?
All right. So at least so like right there. All right, so if we had somebody like I don't have an objective, my objective is to get you into the door. It's like, dude, I love to come. Like I'll show you what
I think you got to make me because I already revealed my pain.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I looked at your pictures. Everyone looks swole as fuck. I'm basically embarrassed without saying it. I feel like you got to just dig in and make me comfortable. Yeah.
So you gave the objection though right away, which was like, man, I don't want to get rejected. I don't want to come to your gym and not feel like I fit in. And I don't want to be like, I want to be friends with X, Y, and Z, and they say no. But that's all right. So the difference between objection and rejection. Jamie, you got any stories about being rejected or any objections in your life that you'd love to share with the chat?
Sorry, chat.
This guy, you got to mute yourself, dude. Chat, we're trying to work on the studio setup. We're going to have 2 monitors next week. You're not going to each person will have a camera. We just got to set that up. Matt's too cheap to get a second arm, so we might have to do this in my office. All right, well, I'd love to hear some stories, dude. If you want to hop in the chat, we can go live. I know you love to pop in here. At this point, he's basically a third host, but
Man. Does it know it sneezed on the air in a podcast? They must edit it out.
yeah, they must edit it, or most of them just aren't. They mute their mic. They have buttons on their feet that they just press.
Mute this.
Yeah, we need those. Our mics are nice. We just don't have the mute button. They have the stands that you can step on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
But
dope. We should invest in that.
You want a podcast topic about caffeine? We'll talk about caffeine next week. All right. I don't know much about it. Yeah, he's got an issue. So it's just me, chat. It's just me. So I'll tell you a couple other stories about being rejected. One about, gosh, too many. Do I want to go? Do we chat? I want you to help me.
There's always women.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we want to talk
But do you feel
about
like you ever put you in a situation to get rejected? Because if you're like me, I feel like the answer is no.
avoid?
Yeah.
As humans, public speaking is like the number one thing that we hate. We'd rather, like we talked about last week, we'd rather die than do public speaking across the board.
I don't know if that's changed for me. I don't know. I need to be put in that situation.
Yeah, you have to, because that depends I think the same thing, but it depends what the topic is. Like I've noticed at work the other day, they threw me on like in front of everybody to chat about myself, and I had no problem doing it. But then if they were like, hey, chat about like when I don't like having people hear me on the phone. Like if I was about CrossFit, I'd be fine. If about my job, currently, I don't feel comfortable yet with the knowledge. So I avoided a little bit. But my point was that I think I avoid just any situation that there's a potential for me to get objected or have an objection thrown at me or rejected. Usually it's like I just go to the dark place. Like, hey, I'm not going to go hang out with this girl because I'm afraid of getting rejected. Or I'm not going to interact with this relationship. Or like Eric's like, get on Hinge. Or Matt's like, talk to this person. Or there's X, Y, and Z at the coffee shop. Or like me and Trill walked into.
But it's just women though.
No.
Because but you would do coach's development where you'll get rejected of all your
ideas.
ideas.
Because I feel confident in that situation potentially. Like super like, I mean, actually, that's not right.
Yeah,
that's not true. Because how many times have I said, "Yeah, I fucking suck at coaching"?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you'll go to coach's development to get ripped.
Yeah,
like your ideas are going to be objected.
Yeah, or just like talked about to have a deep conversation to make people to like make us think differently or think deeper.
Or even this job, you're going to get rejected.
Yeah, I mean, it's like ultimate, like the simple conversation we had about the push press the other day was like, that's an objection being thrown at you, and then it's potentially rejection on both parties, right?
Yeah. But I think you and I are similar in the sense that we will not chase after a love interest unless we are like 110% confident that it's going to be successful.
Why is that though?
And I think we lost a lot of potential relationships worth investigating because of that. I don't know why that is, but maybe those, I think at least I can only speak for myself, but I think I'm a hardcore like lover. So I put that higher on the protection list for myself. So like I really protect the heart because heartbreak sucks.
So you were protecting yourself. So you would much rather just be like, yeah, I'm not going to get involved in this relationship at all because.
Yeah, well, because like I'm going to invest and I'm going to probably obsess a little bit about this person, like, you know.
Well, and
getting rejected by someone you put on a pedestal, and that's probably my own fault. I don't know about you, but that's I feel like I see you the same way. Like you won't pursue somebody unless you know they're like all about you.
Gotcha. No, I agree. I would agree with that, and I'd play off of the same idea. You saying obsessed? I think that's the wrong word. I think it's like, hey.
Infatuate.
Infatuate, or like you're interested. So you're not going to like you take it serious.
Yeah.
Like you're not somebody that's like like Rick. Yeah. Like you're not dating 10 other people at the same time, which is like potentially bad on our part, but potentially the other way around. Good on our part depends also on that person you're pursuing. Like maybe they want somebody who's committed. Maybe they don't. Like those are the big pieces there. I would agree with you though. I think I ultimately or definitely don't actually put myself out there enough to have like even a date. Like, I don't think I've ever gone on like the type of dates that Eric's
even your most recent pursuing.
Yeah.
I feel like you again, like didn't make any moves until like you got a gauge that this person was like.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So what should I do going forward? Does anybody have any advice?
And then this person like ultimately didn't really reject you. Like they did, but not in a direct way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they kept throwing these ideas of like, hey, this will go somewhere at some point. Like I'm down, but then like never like an objection
Yeah.
or a rejection. Like never like, oh, I'm not interested because of this.
Yeah.
Or no thanks,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. So it's like you completely didn't even get rejected technically.
No, and ultimately an objection was put up and I dismissed it. I was like, all right, well, I was ultimately like, hey, here's a piece for me that's like, okay, I'm going to leave that where it's at now and just go forward, because you also have to like have your best interest.
But if you took what you learned from work, what would they say? Like, I guess keep pushing this person, right? Until you got a rejection.
Work would be like, all right, you're going to put in outreach, you're going to label it as like interested, but call back later.
Okay.
So
and
then
you would yourself
I'd make a follow-up.
Contact.
Yeah, ultimately work would have been like, just stay friendly. Like, yeah, absolutely, man. Like, how about I give you a call? Is there a better time to give you a call back?
I think Luke and I
Next
should
week?
run an experiment where we really take all these concepts in sales and put them into a relationship. And I don't want that to be twisted into we're manipulating this person.
Yeah.
But I think, it's like you always tell me, like when you're calling people, it's not to make a sales call, but it is to like have a conversation about something that can help
and
this
show
person.
value to the person.
And I think you're just showing your own value to people and be like, hey, do you really know me for me? Like before you make this decision that I'm not a good fit for you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think we should run that at some
point.
point.
All right, what would that look like? Can you explain that?
Well, you could use an app, or you could do it in real life. I think it's a little bit easier to hide behind an app, but again, like just having conversations with women you're slightly interested in and applying these sales tactics to like how you're doing.
All right,
like, so like, I don't know, chick pops in and you're like, you got to identify her pain, right? Like, what is she looking for in a person?
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't label it as pain, but like, what is she looking for?
Yeah. I don't know if it's pain, because pain is like potentially things that might have happened in your life. Is
she said she might be looking for someone to like push her a little bit. That sounds like you. So then I would like dig in on that.
Well, there's that, but like also pain could be like, I grew up without a dad. He went to the grocery store, never came home. Like that deal. Like,
I'm just saying, like pains are, instead of saying the word pain, like look for things that you think you could bring value. Like, I need some direction in my life. Like that's you, right? You're like got that coaching kind of personality type, and you help push people into new bounds.
Yeah. No.
Join up. Links in the comments. If you want to be a guest here, we're taking guests. Got 2 viewers.
I want to talk a little bit more though about this experiment.
Okay.
That you'd be interested, because ultimately you're married. I'd have to be the one that runs it. So I'd have to be the one that runs the experiment. Yeah.
And you have all the knowledge.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 things: the app, reaching out to people on a dating app.
It doesn't have to be that. I'm just saying, I feel like that's easier to like experiment with. Otherwise, it's like, okay, this person's attractive in grocery store. I'm going to roll up and have convo. Like, what do you think you're going to do?
Yeah.
Be more likely to do.
All right, talking about grocery stores, crazy. So what should I have done in this? Me and Tro walking to the grocery store yesterday.
Okay.
She's slightly behind me, so I'm in front of her. Probably at that point look like I'm alone. Walking to the grocery store, you look right over to where the bullshit's at. So, you walk into Whole Foods and you see like all the fruit, but then all of a sudden behind that is like kale and stuff. So there's this girl getting kale, and she just stares at me. And I was like, thought for a minute, because like she's just staring, thought maybe Trill was behind me. I was like, do you know this person from the gym or somewhere? And then just keep staring at me, and just like this huge smile of like she wanted to have a conversation. I just smiled back and waved, and then just kept walking. I was like, do you know that person? And Trill was like, no, maybe she's interested in you or me. And I was like, oh, interesting. But in that situation,
were you interested in said person?
Yeah, she was cute.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very cute.
So in that situation,
Trill went back in to like try to investigate. Trill.
And that's even a generous situation.
Yeah. It was like she basically put herself out there.
Because in your job, you got no idea if this person's interested or not.
So like
more likely than so.
Okay, so the way this experiment works is like ultimately I should be like,
anything you see that you like, either physical or maybe you are having a conversation with the cashier and you're like, oh, she's kind of got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like then you just got to
go into
your sales pitch.
You got to go into the sales pitch. I don't even know. It's like the way we go through it is like there's accounts assigned to different verticals based off of like what we estimate their value to be, their ACV. And now we need to go ahead and pursue that. So it's like you walk in and the ACV would be like my interest level, and then like they're cute. Or like you said, they had a really cool conversation, or this happened or that happened. And it's like, now I go ahead and I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to go ahead, invest and investigate this further, learn out more information, learn all the different things. Like, so our same rule with work is there's 2 criteria you need to have answered before they get a demo. Like, you can't schedule a demo if you don't have their challenges. Like, hey, why are we even having this demo? Because then if they have no challenges and they're sitting down for a demo, it's just wasting people's time. It's like the AEs can sit down and be like, I don't even know what to show you.
Yeah.
And like, they need to prep for it. So it's like, okay, I need to evaluate what the challenges might be.
But the beauty of this is you're a fucking expert at the product. You know Luke inside and out.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. That's the difference. The value. Yeah. It's like, I'll probably get fired for I don't know. It's challenges and
you don't have to keep it. You can keep it secretive.
There's another one. No, I just don't remember, and I have a test this week.
I also want to know if the peeps from work ever heard this, if they were like, if they would think, oh, it's cool that he's spinning all these theories and things we talk about into like other things in his life, or if they'd be like, oh no, all our traits. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously these aren't trade secrets. We just pulled up the objection rejection.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's like it's a common tactic. I don't think that's just like we have the best practice. I don't know. I might get fired, but
like if I was your boss, I'd be like, oh shit, this dude's like taking this shit home with him and like trying to apply it to other things. That's cool.
Yeah, and maybe Al would say that Al's chill. He'd be like, look, dude, like you need to chill. But I don't know. Maybe I get fired.
But anyway, that experiment, like, yeah, I think it could work, but
potentially. So I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know who to start with.
Yeah.
Like, moving through it's like I wouldn't feel like going to a random person at the grocery store is a lot heavier. Also, if anybody does watch this, Luke's not like, I'm not like this player. Like, if I were to like if this experiment kicked off and it was like the first person, I was like, wow, I like this person. The experiment would end. I'm not the type that's like, well, I'm in the middle of an experiment. Like, I'm going to hang out with you, do these things, and also hang out with 4 other people at the same time. No.
I'm not saying that's even a requirement for the experiment.
Yeah. The experiment could just be like, ultimately, you're just suggesting get out of your comfort zone. Like,
I'm just saying, like, can these ideas in sales be applied to like finding a potential mate for the rest of your life? I mean, maybe it seems like it could.
Yeah. Jamie, do you think it could be good work? I don't know.
5 viewers, click the link in the comments.
Yeah, everybody drop in.
It's the guest segment.
Yeah,
we're looking for guests.
We're just chatting about objections, rejections. We're talking about a thought experiment of just talking to random people and getting comfortable.
Yeah, selling yourself.
Yeah, sell yourself. You need
value.
The room's bare. We're gonna have a couch back there, dude.
Oh, we're gonna get posters, the neon sign for Benchmark Coffee Co. Get up here.
Rich, what up, my guy? You guys together right now?
Who's Rich?
Chris just texted me. What's he texting me? Oh, Rich, my guy, dude. Rich is a crazy motherfucker. if we're talking about the right Rich, if I say that about crazy, Rich is fucking crazy, dude. He's got chickens, ducks. He's got a bunch of shit in his house.
Dude, that reminds me. We gotta get a chicken coop here.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I sold myself under the high bridge last night. Yeah, Chris does crazy stuff.
What does that mean?
He likes to talk about himself as a sex trafficker.
Oh.
I think he's joking.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a good thought.
Would you do it though?
I would do it.
And if you did, would you do it to these online dating apps?
I would not do it with the app. I just can't.
Would do it. So
I'd have to do it in person.
If we happen to get in a situation,
I'd be sick.
I see you tell me about someone smiling at you in a store, I'm going to tell you, let's go up to them and make a combo.
Yeah, but the combo would just be like, hey, I'm Luke. No.
Handshake?
No, exactly. Like, that's fucking weird.
You're going to roll up and be like, hi.
Hey,
I couldn't help but notice you were looking in my direction. I just wondered, do we know each other?
I think I could go over and just like play off of other stuff. Like, why do you eat kale? Like, come on.
You could.
I could, yeah. Like, maybe that'd be funny, or maybe somebody would be like thrown off. I also sometimes think, like, Chris, maybe you can attest to this for me or help out with us, or Jamie, like talking about some of our interests. Sorry, it's dry here. Do you think that potentially, like, when we talk about, like, we push the liver, we push different things, it's too pushy on people, or do you think people like it? Because a lot of people, there's a lot of extroverts, there's a lot of introverts, and then
I think we're opposite in that sense.
And what do you mean? Like, we read the
room?
To
me, I don't like to talk about myself, or like, I don't like to ever feel like I'm bragging. That's like, I did this series of videos of our house when it was like destroyed and dilapidated and us living here because I thought it was funny. But then once the house like got established, like I was like, now I just feel like I'm giving a tour of my house, and it felt like cribs, and I was bragging, so I stopped making them.
Mm-hmm.
And like same thing when people ask, like I was in the car yesterday with the people I was mountain biking with, and they were like digging into like, oh, what's your diet like? And I'm like, I only eat meat and fruits. And then they're like, why is that? And then somehow I got into the liver, and I was like, And they were like, you eat liver raw? You sure it's good for you raw? Like, what about getting sick and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I was like, dude, I'll bring it into the gym. We could try it if you want.
I told him I'm bringing it to work. But
you're more like, yeah, I eat raw liver. I'm bringing you in some. We're going to go chow down on it.
But would you view that as...
I don't think either. I don't think you're pushy.
I don't know. I guess it's like... Sorry, the dog's upset right now. I don't know if I would say it's... No, stop. I don't know if I would say it's
definitely not a gun safe. That's just some acoustic padding so that we
do have a couple of guns here though, Chris. Better be careful. Dude, Matt's got 2 in his room. I don't have one yet. Not pushy, but it's like if I talk to somebody, do you think people get like turned off or not uninterested? Like think it's like weird. Like you don't eat liver. Like I try to ask a lot of questions. Like at the gym, last week we were all talking about like diet. And I'm just ultimately trying to push what I think is good and like really helps me. Like Jamie is always like, he's been questioning my fitness lately. Yeah. And he's like, how are your numbers so much higher or better than mine? And I'm like, honestly attribute to like a couple different things, like, but solely because we have nothing different. There's no other variables different besides the diet. So when I talk to people,
there's a couple, I mean, don't forget time.
Yeah.
Jamie, you've been doing it for what?
Yeah. 2 years. Yeah. He's been doing it for 2 years. I've been doing it for 9. I agree with that. Like over time, right? Yeah. CrossFit fitness is defined as across your lifetime. But I was going with this in like the direction of last week at the gym. We were talking about diets and veganism came up and different things. And I'm like, oh, you should try this. And it's like, might come off as I'm being an asshole, but it's ultimately, I'm like coming off of like, maybe try this. Or like, have you tried this? Or have you thought about this? And I'm not questioning. If somebody says to me, like, I love veganism and I feel great, it's like,
I don't know. See, that's why I don't think you're that pushy though. Cause like Dave just threw up his lunch, and which is like not our diet, but we both recognize like, okay, well, he's not eating sugar.
Yeah.
And he's not eating like bullshit processed food. It's handmade. Like, so we were like, oh, cool, dude. Yeah. That's good lunch.
All right. So yeah, you're right in that sense. So you think you're a little bit like more humble? Ultimately is a better word.
I'm more reserved than you for sure, but I don't think either of us are pushy.
Okay, pushy.
I think it takes a lot of back and forth to get us to like start recommending things.
And it also has to be like a high topic. Yeah, you're right. I'm not like telling anybody to like, you have to eat liver. You're right. I suggested like we bring it to the gym, which I think we should next Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll fucking throw down some liver feast. We'll bring liver. We'll cut it up on a cutting board, some honey. I'll bring it in a cooler. I'm bringing it to work on Monday. Fucking gonna message Max like, yo, dude, I got some liver. What time we chowing down? But interesting there. So where were we prior to that? We were digging in the experiments, digging into that, talking to those people.
This guy, he loves FaceTime, right? You might as well just be a co-host, dude.
Hey, the boys are back in the shark, baby.
Back on the shark.
On the shark. Yeah, we might as well just make you like part of the team, dude.
Dude, I'm an honorable member of the team.
Jay up with Jamie. It's like a 15-minute segment of the show.
Yeah, Jay up with Jamie. That's a good one.
There you go.
Towards the 50-minute mark, Jamie drops.
Dude, I'm off next Sunday, so I can give you a little more effort if you guys
full on interview.
Sunday podcast
interview. We were a little bit jumpy today. If Eric were to watch this, he'd be like, you guys were hyped up on coffee talk. We've been digging into objections and rejections, as you could hear. What are you thinking, dude?
I've been listening, dude. I was eating a sandwich listening. It was good, dude. You guys are bobbing and weaving, shaking and baking.
Well, give us a rejection,
give us a rejection story here.
Oh.
You can actually give us a story about objections you might have dished out as well yourself, or objections or rejections you might have dished to somebody else. A couple stories come to mind for me, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
About me rejecting?
Yeah, dude.
I want to hear your stories about me rejecting.
I can't talk about these stories, dude.
That's a good question, though. You guys just got me thinking. I don't think I'm good at doing that either.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are. The way all three of us are, we just give everybody else what they want.
When I was managing like a staff of like 60 down in Maryland, I had to reject a lot of people.
But were you good at it, or did you like give people?
I was probably pretty good at it just because I was comfortable there. Like I knew exactly what my job was.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like I wasn't like, I was confident in what I was doing and I knew what I had to do. So people try to fight me on it or do something silly. I'm like, you're not doing this. Is incorrect. You're wrong. This is not going to work how you want it to work. It's going to work how I want it to work.
Yeah, that's fair. So you were Did you give them rejections or would you give them objections? Were you listening to that part where they're slightly different?
Yeah, I was. I heard part. Saw you guys search the definitions, but I had things going on while I was listening. So no, I don't know.
So like rejection is ultimately, what did it say?
It's like there's no room to like negotiate.
Yeah, it's like
just a flat out get the fuck out, you're fired. Like
or
that's
just
rejection.
Yeah,
or
I've
just like,
had
no,
that.
you're
I've
doing
done
this
that.
with the boat, go do it.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. Rejected people. I've definitely fired people.
What about like personal relationship wise in your life? Have you broken up with people?
Yeah. I mean, if Sydney's watching this podcast, she might. I don't know.
Sid, what up?
Well, I just mean like it ultimately have I broken up with anybody? No, I usually just get broken up.
No, dude, you ride that shit out. Till
Dude, he does, man. I think that's one of his biggest downfalls is he'll ride these relationships.
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing. He'll ride these relationships till he's
there's
completely
no choice.
unhappy, but then make these people end it before. But then the crazy part is, shit, I'm really hot. The crazy part is when he finally gets dumped, he's upset.
Well, I've said this to Luke, he knows this. I said, it's not like the person necessarily, it's the situation that you're upset about. You lose that comfort, that person to confide in. That's not necessarily like, the personality.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. 100% right. Which is like, it's definitely a flaw in me of like,
I rejected a girl one time. I told her that I didn't see myself marrying her. So we broke up. Yeah,
that's fair. So like, and that's good. Like here's the objection. And I don't think we can solve this objection. Like you shouldn't have in a relationship, you shouldn't have to be like, well, I'm going to prove to you why you should marry me. Which is like, if you get to that point, it's like, get the fuck out.
Yeah. What was I about to do, dude?
You had to do that. What about any objections, like with some friends, like you and Rocco? You guys have any rejections that come up in your life?
Give me the definition of objection again.
Somebody says to you, "I can't do CrossFit because I'm not fit yet." It's like, yes, you.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, when Rock started CrossFit at ICA before he met Sarah, he was like, "Dude, you got to do this." Like, he's like, "I just invested." I remember him texting us. He was like, "Boys, I just invested $700 into myself, and I got a 6-month membership or whatever the price tag was." He goes, "You guys got to do it. It's crazy good." Like going on and on. And I was like, "Dude, I'm fat, bro. I'm drinking Miller Lights like it's not like it's water. You think I'm doing that? You're crazy."
So you put up the walls.
What got you into Luke's gym? Was it the comfort that it was smaller?
Like
less eyes on.
I remember doing I went to ICA one time. I went just as like a trial drop-in, whatever. It was free. Rocco was like, "Hey, come do this workout. We're doing DT." And I was like, "I don't know what DT is, but sounds good to me." So we did it. I think I did 65 pounds. It took me like 13 minutes, something crazy. And I liked it. I was like, "Oh, that was a kick-ass workout." And I was moving a month later, so I emailed John and was like, "Hey, I really enjoyed that. Here's my situation. I'm moving in 3 weeks. Like I would like just to continue doing it." And he pretty much was like, "You're paying full price." Like, I don't know. It was a situation where I wasn't ready to spend the money when I was moving, Yeah. So then I moved to Maryland, stuck with the fitness, and then I forget how it came about, but I just went to, I remember actually, this is funny, Luke. I remember you started the gym. And Rocco was like, "Yo, come over to Sarah's parents' house and we're going to work out." But it was all Luke's equipment. And Luke was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing out in my gym?" Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I forget what you guys did.
We were just bench pressing and Rocco's like, "Oh, shit, my bad."
I just said, "Why can't you guys just do class or something?"
Yeah, it was funny. So I don't know if that was...
That was the first time you met Jamie?
Catalyst.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Not the first. I think I've met you before, but it was like...
Yeah, you did. You did before that.
But it was just funny. Jamie was like his usual, like, let me try to, Luke. Like, tried to, like, weasel us by. And I was just like, it was fucking dark, cold, rainy. And I just remember being like, what the fuck? Trying to grow this gym. And
I don't know what, I actually don't remember, like, when I started, like, consistently going to Luke. I think it was during COVID.
You came a second time. me, you, Mitch, and Rocco did a workout together. We did something with man makers, I'm pretty sure.
We did Chad. I remember we did Chad at one point.
But that was a different time. That was when you actually started coming. There was a time before Jamie came, and then I'm pretty sure after that, you're like, yo, I had fun. Like, I'm home, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to start coming again, blah, 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 blah. And then you started coming.
At one point, I was coming home from Maryland every weekend. So I would come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then go back to Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting radio's loud as
But
shit.
Jamie's a good negotiator, so like he'd be good in sales. And Brian is too, his brother. They just love to. They do the prying. Like if Jamie gets rejected, Jamie's not. Any rejection, Jamie's gonna put up as an objection. Like, nah, dude, you can't live here. But like, why not, dude? Like, what do you guys do? Like, why can't I live there? Like, you have this extra bedroom. What are you doing with the extra bedroom? Tell me a little bit more about the extra bedroom. Like,
dude, I'm about to move in. I'm about to come
Jamie.
to California.
The next thing you know, Jamie's like, I'm gonna come this weekend. I'll live there for the weekend. And like, how's that sound? And then the person's like, I guess you just invite it yourself. Sure. That's Jamie.
You can't hate the player, dude. You gotta hate the game. But anyway, yeah, I was objecting Rocco there, bringing it full circle. Anyway.
And telling
you brought up a very awesome point though, dude, about affiliates and the bigger mission of like, you were this person who got a little taste of CrossFit and you were ready to start doing it, and like had this owner at the affiliate just been like, yeah, man, let's work out a deal. Like, I'll give you your last couple days. Fuck, I'm really clipping. The last couple days here for $50. Like, that gets you hooked. You move down to Maryland. Like, you probably would have done CrossFit down in Maryland. Like,
yeah, or instead of, you know, at this point, let's take the person Luke out of the situation and just say it's someone else. Like, maybe when I come home, now I'm paying ICA, not Luke, you know?
Yeah.
And so he could have lost, you know, he lost business on that as well. And I've done that with other gyms, even in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, hey, I'm here for 2 weeks. Like, I'm not paying $30 for a drop-in, you know, 4 times a week. Like, I'm not spending $250. Yeah. Like, what can we work out? And
I'm just saying, like, you were a person that was like interested in CrossFit, but then that delayed you, you know, and thankfully Rocco was like, hey, come do a workout. But I mean, like, basically you were someone who was a, you know, potential member of CrossFit the whole, not just this ICA place that just like completely deteriorated because, you know, you were only going to be there temporarily and you didn't want to pay the price that this person did. So it's like kind of interesting of like growing CrossFit, like you have as an affiliate owner, a little bit bigger of a mission than just like helping yourself. Mm-hmm. You want to help people.
It's true. Help others, help the community.
As CrossFit as you can.
So John Warnick, if you hear that shit, dude, if you're watching Novo podcast, that's you, bro.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. They fucking spying on me.
Probably going to make their own podcast in like 2 days.
Something we could do, like, you know, multiple episodes. If Jamie ever had the time, we could do like a 30-minute coach's corner or something with the 3 of us. Get Jamie hooked. But it's like when we tell you to get your level 1, your objection is the money.
Well, it's always the money with Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
It is, dude.
Where did you think you got so frugal?
I don't know if it's frugal, but I want to hear what he says.
No.
Well, hold on. Let's back up a second. Hold that thought. In the last 6 months, what was the biggest investment into yourself? Money-wise.
Oh, I bought a bunch of Amazon stock that's down the shitter.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, my boy.
I bought
also.
$10K worth of Amazon stock, and it's probably worth like $6 right now.
Holy shit.
Well, he's also traveled a shit ton.
Okay.
Ireland, London.
Yeah, I spend money on experiences more. Like, I mean, I think I'll circle this back, but I think I'm frugal in a sense of like, I've seen how money can make you more money. So I'd rather not spend $50, like, you know, going out to dinner when that $50 I could put into an account and in a year from now is maybe worth $75, but on a larger scale, you know?
Yeah.
But the biggest investment in myself, probably has to be CrossFit. I mean, I'm not like investing in like, you know, maybe like
you don't get a tangible return from it.
Like my work licenses, like my boating licenses, like I've paid for that to like increase the scope of what I can do. And I mean, that's like financially, you know, you put thousands of dollars into your licensing and whatnot, and then upgrade it. And you got to pay the Coast Guard and you got to do shit like that. So that's like, But I'm not here buying $100 worth of like self-help books of, investing in that way.
Well, I mean, all those things you listed count. Like, you putting money
there's
into
no
a
right
stock
answer.
market is the same thing. You're investing in yourself for the long term. Same thing with
Look
CrossFit.
at this.
You're investing in yourself for the long
Yeah,
term.
real quick. Look at this unit that's rolling past real quick. How do I flip the camera, boys? I don't know if I can.
You can't.
You
You
just gotta flip the phone.
the bird that your head's covering.
No, dude, the big boat that's going by.
I see it. How much does that
Baby, you
cost?
do got a big ass pelican right there.
Yeah, I heard a
Hey,
seagull.
Jamie, why don't you live on a boat, dude?
He used to.
I did.
But how come you don't now? Like, I mean, your own boat.
Sydney owns a house.
Because my wonderful girlfriend has provided me with a beautiful home to live in that she owns.
So you don't really like the boat life per se.
No, I mean, if
small.
you to live on a boat, you're living on someone else's boat. Like I lived on like a billionaire's boat, and
That life was weird.
Well, no, I'm saying like the CrossFit owner down the street, he lives on a boat. Just it's always docked at the marina. It's not like a huge boat. It's just like a little boat that he lives on.
yeah, that's sweet. People
Is
definitely
that too
do that.
minimalist for you?
No, I could definitely do it, but I don't think it's sustainable for like
A relationship.
like a relationship and like
Yeah.
personal space and whatnot.
I mean,
could
everything.
definitely
We
do
wouldn't be
it.
able to game.
Yeah, you'd have to do a laptop.
Imagine like you've got the square footage of that room you're in.
Yeah, that's it. That's about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
But the boat I lived on, I was on a 100-foot boat that was worth $8.5 million with all the technology and upgrades that you could imagine. So that's a little different than living on like a 36-foot sailboat.
Yeah, and you just got the chance to do a bunch more. You got the chance to see things. From my observation and conversations with him, the shittiest part was just like the snap of a finger. Jamie had to go work.
Yeah, you're on someone else's schedule, So like
these rich
the
people.
guy that I worked for was worth like $3.5 billion. So the dude's got people that do everything for him. So he's always expecting like, it's on his command, on his call. So if it was Thursday and he said, "Hey, we're going to go out on the boat on Saturday," well, if I had plans on Saturday, guess what? I don't have plans anymore.
Yeah.
Like now,
or like, what about when his kids went on? Like, and you guys are out in the water until fucking 2 a.m, and then you got to clean up.
Yeah, like, hey, we're going to go out on the boat from noon to 7 p.m. Well, all right, you plan on that. Well, now they don't show up because they're on their own schedule. They show up at 3 p.m. and now you're out on the water till midnight.
And it's their boat again, so they just tell you what to do.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like their boat.
You're
like
just servants.
You can't tell them no.
Yeah.
Like, hey, sorry, we're going back because I'm tired. Like, it's like, all right, well, we're paying you the salary. This is your job.
Do it.
So, yeah. It's tough. It's just like it's just someone else's.
It's cool though. It came with a lot of perks.
Yeah, dude, Matt, they paid for all of my groceries, dude. So you want to talk about like, I was in great shape because I was eating so much, and like being able to eat good food. And I was spending probably $400 or $500 a week on their credit card through what's the grocery option? Instacart. Just
and they paid for like
delivered.
all like whatever you want. It was like, I want grass-fed ground beef. They paid.
Yeah, I could get it all.
There was no like limit on how much he could be spending, how much he was allowed to spend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was like, just get the food.
I was eating good food. I don't,
like getting specialty bottles of water and the bars that you want and the meat you
want.
Yeah,
we had like turmeric shots and like all sorts of healthy stuff while I'm getting radiated.
Yeah, like any of the stuff you want it.
Yeah, we still just got 6 other parking apparently.
All right, Jamie. It's good talking to you, dude.
We'll catch you on the next podcast, my guy.
All right, copy that. I'm here. All right, guys, I'll see you.
Deuces, brother.
There goes Jamie, dude.
All right, so objections and rejections. Jamie's had some decent stories. I feel like we could dig into this more. We just need to be more prepped more. Yeah. Like not prepped. I came with what I had. It's always a never-ending learning curve. What do you want to chat about next time?
Next time, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. I think next time we'll do an interview. We keep promising the audience we're going to interview somebody.
Yeah, we got to find somebody.
Drop a line in the comment if you want to be interviewed on.
Don't forget, you can comment if you're not watching this live.
Yeah.
We still get the notifications.
Correct.
Still can comment. You can comment into the YouTube feed. Don't forget.
Yeah. On YouTube only. If you're on Twitch,
it's dead. That's what we had to fix, where it doesn't disappear the videos, right?
Yeah, I've switched that today, so we'll test that out.
All right, we'll test that. Aside from that, we were sorry, all over the place, but just a lot of shit. I think we could dig more into the objections, rejections. We should definitely will try to get somebody on the interview. I'll try the thought experiment. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I don't know when I'll start, but I'll start.
You gotta start now. When
I have
when
to.
You say it.
At some point, I need to find a lady in my life. So, so I'll start. I'll fucking start. I think my last piece on that is I think people create obstacles in their life before they're even existent. Like we talk about
that's what I'm saying. It's our defense mechanism.
Yeah, we create obstacles, like super simple ones. Like
that's why I was said 110%. We have to know the person that's
interested. But we even prior to that, we just put obstacles up of like, well, I'm not gonna do this because
they're not into me.
Yeah, not into me, or
based on what I think.
Yeah, exactly. Based on nothing that they've said, which is like frustrating because we do the same thing as coaches. We're like, don't say that. Like, you don't know if you could do this. Or like, let's try if you can deadlift 200 pounds. Let's see if you can run the mile. Like, if you can't, you can't. It's like not that big of a deal. It's the same thing on the phone. Like last week, I was freaking out at work. It was like, all right, I don't want to call this person. It says don't call them. This was 3 months ago. It's like, they don't fucking remember. Like, they don't remember if I called them. Like, that's what Al said to me. He's like, that conversation was literally 2 seconds. I was like, should I email him? He's like, call him Monday. Guy doesn't even remember he answered this phone call today. Like, he's busy. He might like flash back and be like, oh yeah, that's right. You did call me, but I told you to call me back. If he does remember, and if he doesn't remember, it's going to be like, whatever. So that's the same thing, I think, with all of the other stuff we talked about.
Jamie wants us to talk about caffeine next.
All right, we'll put a 15-minute segment in there. What do we should get Gabe on? We'll talk about caffeine. Does he know a lot about caffeine?
I don't think so. Why do you think Gabe? I mean, we should get Gabe on, but I don't know about
just because of the coffee farm. We're looking to buy property in another country to start a coffee farm.
He just texted me today with some ideas to hang. I'll have to run it by you and Trill. It's a big commitment
today.
Yeah. Got more viewers just popping in. Like, we're about to end this segment. It's guest time right now. So if someone wants to pop on as a guest, I'll drop the link here.
Drop the link again.
One more time. We're talking about rejections, objections, and we're talking about a thought experiment that we might try with Luke here on,
Oh, we've been talking about that for a while, but
yeah, let us know if you're interested in joining. Last time we had Danny make pizza live on the air. We've seen Jamie at work too.
We've talked to Vince a lot. We're looking to just chat. We just want to chat with anybody. It doesn't matter. You could bring anything you want to the table. It could be your career, your job, relationships, advice for us if you got that knowledge.
Also, to update, we had tripe soup this week.
Yeah, tripe soup was
organs, good. And I think we got some more tongue.
Yeah, we got more tongue. We just got to cook that. We just didn't have enough pots. We should throw that in a pot today. We'll cook that today. I forgot because we got to boil it. Yeah, a lot of shit, dude. A lot of shit. But all right, nobody's joining up, dude.
All right. Well, if no one's looking to chat, I guess we'll sign on out.
Yeah, I got to make another coffee, more caffeine, and then hear what this adventure is. I need running shoes. I'm going to run a marathon, dude. No training allowed. I'm not training for it.
You gonna run a full marathon?
Not half. I fuck that. I don't even know about it. I just run. You're doing it too. Okay. Me, you, Trill, Kendall, Cleefish.
Cleefish said he wanted to do it last time, but he didn't have time. He wanted to train a little bit.
He's not training. I'll talk to him.
See if you can get him to do it. I don't know if I want to do another full marathon.
I don't know if I want to do any of it.
You should do a full marathon. I think it's a good test of your mental commitment.
Yeah, well, that's literally what me and Aaron were talking about. He's like, well, why do you want to do it? And I was like, solely for the fact that, like, I think I'm in the fitness space that I need to just be able to be like, have you run a marathon? Like, if anybody comes into my gym and says, or your gym says, have you?
It's our gym. You can say that.
Our gym. But my point is, like, I need the experience. Like, I've run a marathon. I can help you. Ownership. Take ownership.
That's you being owner.
All right. Take ownership.
That. Yeah, dude. My gym. All right, go ahead.
I like that.
So what are you saying?
I just want to have the experience to be able to relate with them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I've done a marathon before. I'm not saying I'm good at it. It took me 6 hours, but I've done it.
Yeah.
I know where you like mile 6, I was fucked. Like, if you want to get good, you need to train like a little bit more of that volume, or like maybe we're similar athletes. Like, there's where my downfalls were. Here's where I need to go. I need to work on my endurance, my stamina,
When I did mine with George, I set some really loose rules on like how I wanted it to go. It was like, I want to do a marathon. I want to run the whole time, and I want to not train for it except for CrossFit only.
Yeah.
And those were like the 3 kind of rules that I wanted to do the marathon for, because those just meant something for me. Like, I mean, you might have a different take on what you want to get out of the marathon. I think it's ultimately up to anybody. Like, someone might just want to complete a marathon, even if they have to walk some parts of it. Like, that's cool too. But those were just kind of my goals for it. And yeah, for me, it was like definitely, I could have always trained for it. I definitely could have gone faster, but I think what I wanted out of it, the mental aspect of it all, would have still applied. So yeah, I just think it's like a completely different thing mentally. And I want to do an Ironman next. Just a little nervous about swimming. I think I have to do extra training on swimming because I'm just not a good swimmer.
I can't fuck that. The ocean swimming.
Well, they're not all open ocean swims,
Yeah.
are they? I think some are in lakes.
I would do the lakes potentially, but it still would freak me the fuck out.
The nice thing about the ocean, though, is the salt water keeps you floating a little bit more.
Yeah, fine, I don't give a shit. Fuck that.
But yeah.
Cool,
dude.
All right, deuces, people.
Deuces. Nobo podcast.
I forgot to end. Don't.
Just kidding. I'm still here.
Okay. Now we're gonna end the
Good call, bro.
podcast.